the channel. I'm back to break down this 13-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. That way you get notified every time that I upload new content. You won't miss any new stuff. And then don't forget to turn on my notifications as well over there on Twitter at KJK DFS. I've gotten a few tweets recently, people being glad that they have my notifications on over there because I'm always tweeting out some updates. Most notably, yesterday, I had my home run call on the video being Christian Yelich, and then he was not in the lineup, so I switched it over to Teoscar Hernandez. He went out there and hit 2 bombs, so another good call on the home run call. If you did not see that, just keep an eye out. If the guy that I called for a home run isn't in the lineup, I will comment on that YouTube video, pin it at the top so you can see my new home run call. You'll go back to yesterday's video, you'll see what exactly I did that, and I also tweeted out to give you guys the latest update. So went with Teoscar yesterday. Definitely another good call. Stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And if you are getting very serious about MLB DFS, don't forget to check out my MLB Premium package. There's a link below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups. And I've definitely been off to a good start in the MLB DFS season. So if you try to get really profitable and serious about MLB DFS, I would highly recommend that. Check that out. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. So as always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K-rate fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts, and the top guy on the slate today is going to be Tyler Glasnow, taking on the Chicago White Sox. Comes in with a 35.9% K-rate, 14.7 swinging strike rate, 34.9% K-rate against righties, and a 37.1% K-rate against lefties. Really good stuff across the board, and he's taking on a Chicago White Sox team today that has been striking out a lot as of late. So I think all the stars kind of aligned for a great matchup for him. Only a 105 favorite, unfortunately, taking on Lance Lynn. But other than that, Tyler Glasnow definitely going to be one of the top options on the slate. Second on the list, we got Dinelson Lamet taking on the Colorado Rockies. 33.1% K rate overall, a 14.5 swinging strike rate, 34.4% K rate against righties, and a 32.1% K rate against lefties. Also very good stuff across the board. As far as since he's come back from injury, we haven't seen him push the pitch count up too much. Looking at his game log, you can see he's been right around the low 70 mark. Last time out, giving up 4 earned runs, getting pulled from that game. If you continue to see his pitch count work up, we're going to have a lot more interest in him. But then, of course, you also do have to weigh in the fact that he is pitching in Coors Field today, which is kind of an automatic no for me. I'm not really looking to target him, a guy on somewhat of a limited pitch count in Coors Field, one of the worst pitching environments in baseball, if not the worst. I would argue the worst, so not really looking to go to him. JC Mejia taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Comes in with a decent K rate overall, especially against righties. Against lefties, not so much. We have a limited sample size. He's taking on a Baltimore Orioles team today that actually surprisingly hasn't been striking out as much as of late. So I'm not too sure that I'm getting all too interested in going in. And then when you're looking at his pitch count and all that stuff, I don't really think he's going to be stretched out to the fullest either. More so of an opener type of role, so I don't think I'm looking to him today. Lance Lynn taking on the Tampa Bay Rays is definitely a guy you could be looking to at 27.5% K overall, 12.1 swing strike rate, 32.7% K rate against righties, and a 22.5% K rate against lefties. And the Tampa Bay Rays do have a pretty decent strikeout rate. Even though they're a pretty good team up and down, they have been hot at times, they still do strike out. So if you get the right guy on the mound that can take them on, I definitely do have interest. And they'll have a lot more lefties in the lineup if they're taking on a right-handed pitcher, and Lance Lynn doesn't quite have as high of a K rate against those lefties, unfortunately. Against righties, he comes in with that 32.7% rate. Against lefties, it does dip down to about a 22% rate, so that's a little unfortunate, but still going to be a great spot here for Lance Lynn at the top. And Kenta Maeda also in a good spot, taking on Seattle Mariners, 27.1% K overall, a 14.9 swinging strike rate. That's actually the best on the slate. 31.6% K rate against righties, and a 23% K rate against lefties. Taking on a Seattle team, that's definitely a good matchup to be targeting. We've been targeting them all season long with pitching. Comes in as a 132 favorite. And as far as the latest update on him, he is expected to come off the IL. And he's been on that IL since May 23rd. And he threw 54 pitches during a rehab start in AAA. So, he's not going to be fully stretched out, most likely, and that's the only thing to kind of take note of there. So he's probably not going to be the top option for us to really be going to, unfortunately. And then once we get down past him, things definitely take a dip down for the worse pretty quickly here. I mean, Matthew Boyd taking on the Kansas City Royals is a guy that has a pretty decent strikeout rate overall, 26.2% K rate overall, 26% K rate against righties, and a 26.7% K rate against lefties. That's definitely solid across the board, and he's taking on a Kansas City Royals team that has shown their fair share of strikeouts in certain matchups. specifically against those left-handed high strikeout pitchers. However, Boyd does give a lot of hard contact, and the Royals can definitely hit. So they have a 4.8 implied run total. I was a little scary going there. If you want to go there in tournaments, I wouldn't call you crazy, but not my top option. You got Alec Manoah, the young prospect, taking on Boston. He could definitely pay off for you. He's supposed to have a bunch of K upside. Problem is he's taking on a Boston team that really doesn't strike out all too much. They have a lot of pesky hitters, so I have a hard time targeting this Boston team a lot of times. Not really a top team of mine to want to target. Tony Gonsolin taking on the Philadelphia Phillies is another guy with a high strikeout rate that you could be looking to, and taking on a team that does strike out quite a bit. And as far as his latest pitch count, you got up to 66 in his return, so that should be expected to be go up a little bit. But also a little bit of another pitch count issue, so that's a little unfortunate. And it just seems like a slate where you're going to want to pay up for pitching for the most part, to be honest with you. I guess the next guy we want to talk about definitely is Sean Manaea taking on the Los Angeles Angels. This Angels lineup has been washed down for quite some time. There's definitely a lot of strikeouts to be had in this lineup if you get the right pitcher on the mound. And I think the Sean Manaea could be that guy. It's in Oakland, which is a great pitcher's park, and he comes in as a 159 favorite. So all the stars kind of aligned for a great start here for him. And I have no issues with you going to Sean Manaea. And then lastly, there's not really much else I'm looking to. Adam Wainwright taking on the Miami Marlins is a guy you could be looking to. They're a team that we've been targeting all season long. But outside of that, I would say Brad Keller taking on the Detroit Tigers as well at the bottom. Not the highest K rate at all in the world, but the matchup may give him that K inflation that he needs to have a good start, because the Detroit Tigers have been really, really bad all season long, especially in the strikeout category. So if you want to go there, I wouldn't call you crazy at all. That's pretty much all that I'd be looking to for pitchers as far as transitioning over to bats. I mean, the last guy I would say would be David Peterson taking on the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs definitely have a high K rate. He comes in with a 22.5% K overall. His issue is the walk issue. He gets himself in lots of trouble with traffic on the base paths to both sides of the plate. Has an 11.3% walk rate against righties and a 9.4% walk rate against lefties. Definitely much more effective against those left-handed bats because he's a left-handed pitcher himself. But, yeah, it's definitely a risky option. If you want to go to tournaments, I wouldn't call you crazy at all if you need some salary relief for some more expensive bats, but not going to be the top option on the slate. And with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, scale interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in his career and how good he's expected to be in the future. And the worst guy on the slate today is Vladimir Gutierrez taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Terrible in the strikeout rate, terrible in the ground ball, fly ball stuff. Not that good against righties in the slugging. Against lefties, he does get a lot better, ironically. So a 406 slugging given up to those righties, that's really been kind of his worst weakness so far in his career, and he comes in with a 4.91 implied run total expected against him as far as the Milwaukee Brewers are concerned. So if you want to stack up this Brewers team today, no issues at all. Luis Urias, Daniel Vogelbach, Christian Yelich, Avisail Garcia, all those guys, no issues. Second on the list, we got Brad Keller taking on Detroit. I had mentioned I don't really want to target Brad Keller. Honestly, I'd probably be pitching him. Does give him a little bit of slugging, but the ground ball, fly ball stuff is really good, so I just don't like targeting that kind of pitcher as far as stacks are concerned. And the same rule is going to apply here for Braxton Garrett. May not have been the best pitcher so far, giving a lot of slugging, but the ground ball, fly ball stuff isn't the worst. As far as his opponent in St. Louis and their run total today, we can see that they do have a 4.71 implied run total. It's not in the best ballpark, unfortunately, in St. Louis, but it does look like it's going to be about 88 degrees, so decent hitting weather. And these guys definitely can rake some left-handed pitching. So while he doesn't have the best rates as far as ground ball, fly ball stuff is concerned, as far as targeting him, like they're pretty good. It's only a 14 innings pitch sample size, and he has to get up a lot of slugging. So I do think the Cardinal stack is definitely going to be viable. Guys like Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Tyler O'Neill, Yadier Molina, all have been hitting left-hand pitching really well. So could definitely go to them. Jake Arrieta taking on the New York Mets. We know his story. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is decent, but this hard contact has been terrible. He specifically is really bad against left-handed hitting. A 523 slugging, giving up 37.4% hard contact rate and a 381 WOBA. Not going to get the job done against those lefties. He's not all too good against the righties either, and for that reason, I do think that the Mets are going to be a viable stack tonight. It's in Citi Field, which isn't the best hitting environment, unfortunately, but the Mets do have a 4.5 implied run total. Looks like there might be some weather concerns, but we're really looking at these lefties against Arrieta. Really struggles against lefties. So Villar, Lindor, Dominic Smith, Mason Williams at the bottom of the order, Luis Guerrero. I don't know how to pronounce his name, sorry. And then against righties, same thing. You can definitely target them. Pete Alonso, James McCann, they have a bunch of power. Kevin Pillar, and Arrieta's really not the greatest. So I definitely think the Mets stack is viable. Not the best hitting environment, unfortunately, but still a good stack. Dean Kremer taking on the Cleveland Indians has been terrible across the board. He's a guy we've been targeting every single time he takes the mound. He's giving up a 539 slugging to righties and a 490 slugging to lefties. That is very, very bad. And he is taking on a Cleveland squad today in Cleveland, who doesn't have the best lineup up and down, but I mean, this guy has been so bad, I just don't care, and the Baltimore Orioles bullpen doesn't really scare us either. So I definitely think the Cleveland Indians could be a viable stack for you today. Cesar Hernandez, Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Eddie Rosario, Bobby Bradley, Harold Ramirez, Josh Naylor, all up and down this order, to be honest with you guys. I think you could have interest in with just how bad Dean Kremer's been, so I think they are a viable stack for sure. Marco Gonzalez taking on the Minnesota Twins is going to be another interesting spot. His ground ball, fly ball stuff is terrible. He doesn't really walk anyone, which is good as far as I'm concerned. That means our hitters are going to have opportunity to put the ball in play. Gives up a 415 slugging to righties and a 423 slugging to lefties. And the Minnesota Twins definitely do have some bats that have their fair share of strikeouts, but with a lot of power. So a 4.21 implied run total. If you look at Marco Gonzalez's strikeout stuff, 20% K rate's decent, but nothing too crazy against those righties. And I definitely think we can target these righties today. So Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, Nelson Cruz would obviously be one of my top ones. Robert Refsnyder's been hitting the ball really well. Miguel Sano has a bunch of power. Ryan Jeffers has a bunch of power as a catcher. And I definitely think that the Twins are also going to be a stack that you could be looking to for sure. Spencer Howard taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's also a guy with some very serious splits issues. Really, really bad against left-handed hitting. Not good at all, actually. Really excited to be targeting some Dodgers lefties bats for sure in Dodger Stadium. 82 degrees with the wind blowing out. Gavin Lux, Cody Bellinger, Matthew Beattie, all of the above. Definitely going to be good options tonight, like those guys. John Lester, another guy that gives up a lot of hard contact taking on a Pittsburgh Pirates team. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is not good. A 475 slugging given up to those right-handed bats, so we can definitely be looking to target him tonight. As far as the Pittsburgh hitters are concerned, and who will be looking to on their lineup, it's on the road. It's in Washington, which is a great hitting environment, much better hitting environment than in Pittsburgh, so they get a big upgrade. Brian Hayes, Jacob Stallings, Brian Reynolds, Phillip Evans, Eric Gonzalez. That's a nice little stack there. I think that's going to be sneaky low in the tournaments. And yeah, I think that's definitely a viable stack. David Peterson taking on the Chicago Cubs. We talked about maybe pitching him, but he also does give up quite a bit of hard contact to right-handed hitting. So these Chicago Cubs bats that can match left-handers are going to be in play today. Wilson Contreras, Chris Bryant, Patrick Wisdom's been absolutely on fire. Jake Marisnick hits lefties well. Ian Happ, that's another stack you could be looking to for sure if David Peterson struggles out of the gate. And Eric Lauer taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Probably going to be one of my top arms to target today. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff's terrible. A 441 slugging given up to righties. 42.3% hard contact rate against righties. Not good at all. A 42 slugging given up to lefties. And just a lot of hard contact taken on a Cincinnati Reds team that has been getting the job done for quite some time now. They only have a 4.09 implied run total. It seems as if Eric Lauer gets a lot of respect a lot of times whenever he takes the bump. And I don't know, sometimes stacking against him doesn't pay off for me, but his numbers just don't grade out as being good at all. And I just don't think he's as good as other people think he is. So Jonathan India, Nick Castellanos, Tyler Stevenson, Eugenio Suarez, Scott Heineman, even the lefties, Joey Votto, Jesse Winker are going to be in play for me today. And I think the numbers speak for themselves. As you know, you're looking across my sheet with me here. A lot of red going on. We're dealing with 188 innings pitch sample size. I think there's plenty of evidence to say that he's really not the best in the world. And definitely like targeting him today. And then Adam Wainwright's a guy you can target with lefties. So the Miami left-handed power, they don't really have a lot of it. If you want to go target those lefties, you can. And once we get past him, things start to thin out a little bit. The next spot that I'd be looking to target would be Matthew Boyd's hard contact given up against righties. As mentioned, the Kansas City Royals. You could definitely be targeting the Kansas City Royals righties today. 4.8 implied run total. And the Detroit bullpen's terrible as well. So it's more of a fact that if they can get Boyd out of the game and get to that bullpen, they're going to be looking really good today. So Whit Merrifield, Carlos Santana, Salvador Perez, Jorge Soler, Hunter Dozier, Calvin Gutierrez, Michael Taylor, Hanser Alberto. Up and down that lineup, definitely good. And then once we get past them, Matt Peacock would be the next guy I'm looking to target with San Francisco Giants left-handed power. Guy's been very, very good against right-handed bats, very, very bad against left-handed bats. So the San Francisco Giants lefties are definitely going to be intriguing plays today. It's in San Francisco, which isn't exactly the best hitting environment, unfortunately, but still in a tremendous spot. And lastly, the guys that we have to talk about are in this Coors Field game. Of course, I can't skip over this. Might not grade out as the best spot as far as facing these pitchers, but they're in Coors Field. It's a completely different environment. San Diego Padres in Coors Field taking on Austin Gomber against that lefty. You can definitely be targeting, some of these guys' bats as far as Austin Gomber stuff, and what we should be targeting against him. Has been really good against righties and lefties, to be honest, but as mentioned, hard contact ground ball stuff isn't the best, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that he pitches in Coors Field. The Padres do have a 6.05 implied run total. The Colorado Rockies bullpen is terrible, and definitely can target these guys. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, top plays on the slate. Will Myers, Victor Caratini as a catcher, great. Any guys in this lineup, and the same rule is going to apply for the Rockies. Lamet's opening it, and then they'll trade it over. As far as Lamet stuff and where we can be looking to target him, he definitely does struggle against right-handed hitting a lot more. So we want to target these righties if at all possible. So guys like Jonathan Daza, Trevor Story, Brendan Rodgers, CJ Cron, going to be a lot more excited about against Lamet than the lefties. But of course, the lefties can definitely get into one of 92 degrees in Colorado, best hitting environment in baseball, and definitely a spot that you have to be targeting today, regardless of really how good these pitchers are, because there's still going to be opportunity. The ball's going to hang up with that thin air there in Colorado, and it's always one of the best options to be targeting. So, with all that being said, before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Cody Bellinger, doubling down on the thumbnail boy and the home run call. Love this spot tonight for him, taking on Spencer Howard, who has some serious hard contact issues against left-handed hitting. 44.6% fly ball rate, a 554 slugging, giving up lots of balls hit in the air, lots of balls hit hard, and when specifically breaking down what he pitches, very reliant on the fastball changeup combination. Goes to that fastball on average, you're looking at about a 94 mile-an-hour fastball, and Cody Bellinger crushes that pitch. A 410 ISO with a 504 WOBA, and the changeup, not an issue either. Looking at how Bellinger does against that pitch, a 265 ISO with a 381 WOBA. Spencer Howard really struggling against those lefties, not going to have an easy time tonight with Cody Bellinger. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Get him in your lineups. Cody Bellinger going deep tonight, and that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.